They did, right.
Hello, and thank you, everyone. Can I have your attention now, please? This is that moment in the evening. It's the maybe the flip side or the upside of every party, that there have to be a series of speeches. So I'm going to do a little speech, and then Bernadine will give us a little lecture, and we'll take it from there. So I'm Daljit Nagra, Chair of the Royal Society of Literature. And of course, it's fantastic to be in a room with so many wonderful writers and their wonderful friends and family. A great honour. Behind me, you can see have a first look at our brand new illustration from Hannah Berry, a fellow of the RSL and our inaugural illustrator in residence. We announced the programme last year as part of our commitment to celebrating human artists and creativity in this age of AI. We feel that Hannah's work as a graphic fiction writer and former comics laureate make her a brilliant writer to have at the start of this initiative. Each year, the illustrator in residence will redraw the RSL logo as well as the cover for our annual magazine, alongside new images that champion the RSL's work for the advancement of literature. That way, each year, we'll look at the RSL through a new creative lens. We'll also get the benefit of the imaginations of so many different artists, reflecting the multiplicity of our fellowship. This evening, you're going to be introduced to the writers becoming new fellows of the RSL, as well as those champions of literature who have become honorary fellows. Today, they've been inducted by our president, Bernadine Evaristo, and signed the nearly 200-year-old RSL roll book alongside fellows elected since 1825. They've used one of several famous writers' pens, choosing between those that belong to T.S. Eliot, Andrew Levy, Jean Rhys, and Arnold Wesker. So I don't know which pen came out top, but we have to go around and ask people. The RSL has a radical idea at its heart, that literature is expansive and excellence cannot be limited to one definition. The RSL has never defined what literature is or what literary excellence constitutes. What we work for is the advancement of literature, its growth through a developing and capacious sense of excellence. The first fellows of the RSL were learned bishops and scholars, and we number many such writers in our fellowship today. But we also welcome screenwriters and poets, novelists and theatre makers, graphic fiction writers and translators. Our fellows work across literary forms and throughout the UK. It's our responsibility together to ensure literature thrives and expands on behalf of future generations of writers and readers, as well as those of today. Some of you may have seen reporting recently that the RSL is changing too much, that the eligibility of fellows, but it is not. To be nominated for fellowship, writers must have published or produced 2 works of outstanding literary merit or equivalent material. They are then judged by the electing council, vice presidents, presidents emeriti, and president. This outstanding literary merit can be demonstrated in book form, as theatre productions, through works for the big or small screen, or in any form through which great writing can be shared. At this party last year, we announced a new election procedure that's coming into effect for next year's fellows. This will not, as in some places recently reported, allow the public to nominate fellows. The public can make recommendations, but only the specialist committee, which is made up of fellows, can make the nominations for a vote. Having a specialist committee will ensure that more fellows are involved every year in fellowship elections. Writers will only be nominated by current fellows and honorary fellows, but the public will help to expand the brilliant writers considered for fellowship each year. Council, vice presidents, presidents emeriti, and the president will still vote in elections each year, so no change. All writers will have to have published or produced 2 works or equivalent material of outstanding literary merit. Again, no change. The involvement of fellows and all that the RSL does makes our engagement, events, and projects possible. We believe that literature matters and is for everyone. Our fellows' commitment to and investment in our community and the work we do is invaluable to our mission. Now, before I get you to meet this year's new fellows and honorary fellows, I'm going to ask you to join me in welcoming our perspicacious president, Bernadine Evaristo. But before we do that, I'll read a little bit CV for her, even though she doesn't want me to. So Bernadine is the author of 10 books and numerous other writing in various genres. Her 8th book, Girl, Woman, Other, won the Booker Prize in 2019, so long ago now, and is a global bestseller. Her novel, Mr. Loverman, is currently being adapted into a BBC TV drama to be broadcast later this year. She has founded several successful arts inclusion initiatives. These include the Complete Works Poetry Mentoring Scheme and the Brunel International African Poetry Prize. She has received many awards, honorary doctorates and fellowships, including becoming an honorary fellow of St Anne's College, University, Oxford, and an international honorary member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. She is president of Rose Bruford College of Theatre and Performance, professor of creative writing at Brunel University, London, but forget all that, she's the president of Royal Society of Literature since 2022. Let's welcome her now.
Thank you, Dalja. I did tell you not to read that. Hi, everybody. Last year, in my annual address, I talked about AI it posed to writers. In my first address as president in 2022, I ruminated on the ways in which the literature sector has progressed since the founding of the Royal Society of Literature years ago, and how the familiar backlash facing many institutions is ever present. This year, I'm inspired to talk about readers, for whom most authors, one assumes, are writing, and the importance of nurturing and engaging with them in the literature. They are our supporters, interpreters, unpaid publicists via word of mouth, or championing us on podcasts or on social media pages, and they are the customers without whom there would, in fact, be no publishing industry and therefore no published writers. Most of us hope to reach as many readers as possible in our lifetime, although perhaps some are attached to the idea of writing for posterity, the tortured poet, the turret, the absinthe, the posthumous success. Last week, while at the MBO Lit Fest in Nairobi, partnered with the Hay Festival, I came across a bookshop called Soma Nami, which translates into Read With Me in Swahili. I like the name because it feels like a personal, conversational, quite intimate invitation to read books as a shared activity. Read with me, a communion together, a sense memory of reading with a parent or guardian as a child. It evokes the idea of reading as belonging, as opposed to a solitary endeavor. It perhaps invites those who are so unused to reading books, they dare not open one, to join in. When people stop reading books, our careers as authors are obviously over. Yet the research shows that today's children, in particular, are not convinced that they want to read books. This is deeply worrying because they are, in the long term, the future. Readers, writers, thinkers, imaginators, critics, publishers. I know that we are the future too, but our future than theirs. How many of us would not be writers today if we didn't read books as children? And how many of us would not have read books as children if we had access to everything available to Generation Alpha? The numerous, scintillating, endorphin and dopamine-boosting internet attractions than the quiet concentration and contemplation required to read literature. Instant payoff versus lasting, deeply enriching rewards. Pearson's Education Reading Guide for Parents states the evidence that reading for pleasure is more likely to determine academic and economic success in children than their social or economic background. Children also develop a broader vocabulary, increased general knowledge, and a better understanding of other cultures. We writers don't need to convince ourselves that books need to be an essential part of children's lives, which begins with being read to, and yes, even in the womb. Hello, can you hear me? Yes, you can. To seeing their parents and guardians reading books around them. A relative told me recently she was surprised that her 4-year-old daughter loved reading, when clearly the girl was modeling her mother, who always has a book on the go. Pearson Education also suggests that having books in the house, which makes sense, the physical presence of books normalizes and familiarizes them to children. Again, this is not a problem for writers, but I know people with small children who have 0 books inside their homes. For many of us, our reading was nurtured through the Aladdin's cave of free libraries throughout the land. For those of us who did not grow up in homes with book collections or in families where books were affordable, libraries saved us. Libraries made us. Tragically, since 2010, a random year of no political significance, public library spending has been cut in half. Nearly 800 libraries have closed, and there have been massive reductions in staffing. Libraries might be regarded as peripheral to the needs of a thriving society, especially by those raised in a household with a library in the East Wing, for example, or with bookish parents, but they are absolutely essential to creating a more egalitarian society where every child has access to literature. Aside from the fact that library books make very good birthday presents. As a child from a poor family, I once gave my older sister a library book as a birthday present. Sadly, it had to be returned. Sadly, according to the charity World Book Day, founded to implement schemes to increase reading for pleasure for children and young people, 500,000 British children do not own a single book. Imagine you are a child from a poor family. You do not own a book. There are no books inside your home. Your parents do not read books, and your local library has been shut down. What are the chances of you developing a habit of reading for pleasure, let alone becoming a writer, let alone enjoying the aforementioned academic and economic success? How many such children will find a way out of this into books and become our future readers? Cuts to libraries are a moral crime, and they need to be reinstated as a matter of urgency. DCMS, are you listening? For this child of the 60s and 70s, I traveled beyond my own suburban environment through library books, experiencing other eras, cultures, people, different universes, ways of thinking and being that I'd never encountered in real life. Books offered me entertainment, education, revelation, concentration, a heightened imagination. Literature allows us to sit inside other people's experiences and points of view, perhaps changing us. The worlds outside our own everyday realities are vivified and magnified. The Reading Agency is another essential charity dedicated to empowering people of all ages to read. They work with many sectors of society, including schools, libraries, prisons, publishers, and in health settings such as hospitals. Their research evidences that 1 in 6 adults struggle to read. That is 8.5% of the population, and 1 in 4 children cannot read well by the age of 11. The Reading Agency has also initiated many inventive projects designed to get people reading, such as the Quick Reads series of short and simple, but not simplistic, novels for adults, and a scheme called Reading Friends, devised to combat social isolation, whereby people meet in libraries, one-on-one or in groups, to read together, share stories, and have fun. The Reading Friends initiative does not replicate book groups, which are powerfully embedded in the literature infrastructure, but its role is to start conversations and connect people and communities. I know of a couple who read books aloud to each other on a regular basis, taking alternate chapters. What a fantastic idea. I can imagine what it's like to experience a novel by exploring it together through your own voices, actively listening to each other, responding to it in real reading time, sharing the emotional and imaginative journey of the text. Is this something more of us can take on, set up as a way to encourage others to read, holding them by the hand as we read along with them? Another charity, and they are all charities in search of sponsorship, committed to developing reading for pleasure is Give a Book, which is dedicated to promoting books and the pleasure of reading in prisons, schools, and with socially disadvantaged children. On a global scale, Book Aid International provides 1 million books from publishers annually to libraries, schools, and for refugees abroad, as well as training educators, librarians, and volunteers to share the power of books. According to a YouGov poll, 1 in 5 people describe themselves as readers, which is incredibly low, isn't it? But in terms of current trends, within that, people in their 30s are the largest segment of book buyers in the UK. Book Talk started organically in 2020 as the book community of TikTok to share their literary preferences. It soon garnered enough support among its young users to make a phenomenal impact, driving sales for old and new books. And for every performative book talker who produces videos with flattering filters, atmospheric music, themselves curled up in comfy yet stylish casual wear on a chic armchair in front of a color-coded bookcase, many more are seriously sharing their love of books, including straightforward video reviews. Book Talk, as a site with a passion for reading, is the whole point of it, is run by readers, not writers or publishers, and it has regenerated writers' careers, especially back catalogues, and galvanized a generation to read as a positive lifestyle choice. Better than makeup tutorials or viral comic dancing, eh? It goes without saying that readers love to meet writers at book events, bookshops, libraries, reading groups, and in the buzzy environment of literature festivals. Millions of books are sold every year at festivals, but they are so underfunded they can only operate if they are supported by legions of volunteers. Yet they are also so important to writers and the industry, it's hard to imagine how we could survive without them. Something's wrong here, right? From the largest festivals attended by hundreds of thousands of readers a year, with satellite community, schools, and other projects nurturing new readers, to the micro festivals started up yesterday. This is where readers are introduced to new writers and get to listen to and gain insights from the writers they already admire. We need to support and protect these annual assemblies in celebration of literature, writers, readers, publishers, everyone involved. As someone who spends much of my time reading online, my own writing in progress, the writing of others, news websites, newspapers, gossip columns, I already understand the nourishing benefits of slow reading from a physical book and the relief it offers away from scanning or scrolling online and the jerky, agitating, and tiring eye movements involved. Time slows down when reading a book, and I feel a return to the pre-internet world when reading physical books was a tranquil, immersive, centering experience I took for granted. The Queen's Reading Room is a charity funded by Queen Camilla, who is the patron of this society. And she is a huge supporter of literacy and literature projects. The Queen's Reading Room's remit is to promote the power and benefits of reading. And to this end, she recently commissioned seminal research into what happens to the brain when people read books. Its findings seem to have gone somewhat under the radar. This research used brain scans, skin conductance tests, and a nationally representative study developed by neuroscientists to examine the connection between reading and well-being. Together, these research pieces gave us over 72 million data points and a clear picture of our emotional responses as we read a book. Key findings revealed that just 5 minutes of reading can reduce stress by nearly 20%, improve concentration and focus by as much as 11%, and that reading earlier in the day can help readers feel more connected to others and feel ready to tackle challenges. We discovered that reading a work of fiction can significantly reduce feelings of loneliness, important because social isolation has already been proven by neuroscientists to have a link with an increased risk of developing different dementias. The results have proven that there is an important link between reading fiction and increased mental health, brain health, and social connectedness. Wow. If we needed further convincing of the benefits of reading books, this is it. It's time to spread the word and change the world, and remember that the culture of reading benefits everyone, individuals and societies, in the short and long run. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our president there, Bernardine Evaristo. So writers depend on other writers and the colleagues we work with to make this career possible. We're going to be about another 7 minutes and we're done. And we can party on. Omni Fellows are the people recognised for what they do for literature and for readers and writers. They help to facilitate literary excellence, widen access and bring literature to everyone. I'm going to announce our Omni Fellows for 2024. And I want you to give them a big cheer. Hopefully their images are going to come up on the screen, if it works. Let's see. So first up, Sue Andy. Well done, team. Sarah Aldizoni. Lucy Astor. Sanchita Basu Desaka. Francis Cody. Geraldine Collins. Sue G. Lucy Hannah. Claire Malcolm. Jean McNichol. Emma Rice. Alice Spalls. And Amy Wack. Congratulations to all of you, and you can read more about our Omni Fellows in the pamphlets that are distributed about the room. So now I'm delighted to announce the Benson Medalist for 2024. This medal is awarded by the RSL for outstanding commitment to the advancement of literature demonstrated over a career of work. It was a newly designed medal for our 200th birthday in 2020, so please ask our winner in a while if you can have a look at it. It's quite remarkable. And this year's Benson medalist is Sue Andy. Okay, I'm going to do the biog again. You know I like doing biogs. Sue Andy is a writer, poet and arts practitioner born and raised in Manchester by a Liverpool Irish mother and a Nigerian father. Since joining the arts, she has taken up every opportunity to expand her skills. She has been the freelance cultural director of National Black Arts Alliance because she firmly believes in collaborative work that promotes the diversity of black cultures and artists. Her performances have taken her across the UK and into Europe, North and South America and Africa. Her acclaimed one-man show, The Story of M, is on the A-level curriculum. She's produced films on the Pan-African 1945 Congress, the Victorian writer Ruskin, and 2 historical accounts of African migrants to England. She is a recipient of a Doctor of Arts from Manchester Metropolitan University and a Doctor of Letters degree from Lancaster University. Other awards include the Windrush Inspirational Award, Winston Churchill Fellowship, Hope and Inspiration Award for work supporting Black History Month, Nesta Dreamtime Fellowship, Big Issue in the North Individual Inspiration Award, and the MBMEN Lifetime Achievement Award. And in 2023, her home city gave her the Manchester Culture Special Recognition Award. Sue Andy, please come up and collect the most coveted award imaginable. I have to warn you, Sue, it's heavy. You ready?
Am I supposed to say something?
Yeah, you can do.
I've actually got no beer as well. I've wanted to belong to a few clubs in my lifetime. One has been the 54 Club in New York that closed before I could go because I'm not that old. Annabelle's in London, and the RSL, which I thought stood for Rich Studs Looking for Love. Poetic license. Everybody else, when we came to shake hands with Bernadine, I didn't know whether to curtsy. I felt it, should do that curtsy. I'm not going to thank loads of people. I'm going to do an Oscars. My mum, my dad held hands. Well, they did more than held hands, and they got me. But there are people who have held my hand, which led me to here. They've held my hand in love, in support, in advice, and to tell me off. I believe I got here because 2 people nominated me, but I'm not allowed to be told who they are, which means I can't hold their hand. And I can't hold the hands of all those hands that have held mine through my 34 years. I've chosen to be 34 tonight. So, in the world of new technology and all the clever things we can do, imagine that I'm holding out a virtual hand to say thank you to all those people, and thank you to not the Rich Studs Looking for Love organisation for this medal. Thank you.
Over here. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Congratulations, Sue. Andy, I'm excited now to share the last reveal of the evening and announce the fellows elected for 2024. So please put your hands together for them, and it's going to work again seamlessly. Hassan Abdul Razak, Tony Bradman, Jacqueline Crooks, Elizabeth Day, Sarah Dunnant, Martina Evans, Linda France, Annie Floyd, Gabriel Gabadamosi, Payambara Gopal, Verna Gork, Guy Gunaratna, Sinetra Gupta, Sophie Hanna, Nick Heron, I've got injective energy, Afua Hirsch, Victoria Hislop, Khadija Ibrahim, Anjali Joseph, Joanna Kavanagh, Okachukwu Enzelu, Ni Akwe Parks, Claire Pollard, Jacob Holly, Kate Pullinger, Deryn Rees-Jones, Richard Scott, Diana Suhami, and last of all, Louisa Young. And another cheer, a round of applause for all those fellows and honorary fellows. Well done to you all. You are the future of literature. And my closing words, I'll just say fellowship isn't just an honour bestowed to a writer by their peers. Being a fellow gives you the chance to make a stand for what literature should do, who it should be for, and how it can change our lives. We at the RSL are a community of readers and writers coming together for the advancement of literature, as I've probably said a few times. To make all of this possible at the RSL, I'm grateful to my council, Eloise Goodman-Thompson, and of course to our wonderful director, Molly Rosenberg. Thank you to our host this evening at the Garden Museum, incredible. And thank you to our signer, Teo. So please stay, celebrate, talk, drink, eat till 9:15, and we'll see each other in summer, in autumn after the summer. Thank you very much.